Hello, everyone. Oh my, I'm so glad to see everybody here today. There's just tons of you rolling in. Welcome, welcome to the Tea and Tutorials Let's Go Sew live show. I have not done tea and tutorials for a little bit here, but we are getting started back up and I am sipping some tea today. I'm drinking one of my favorites, don't know if anybody's ever tried this, is just plain old black tea, but it is Newman's Own, and it is the only black tea I have ever liked with no sweetener. And yes, it is iced tea without the ice. I am not an ice person, and I am not a sweet tea person. So my Southern friends, I hope, will forgive me on this. But it's so great to see everybody here today. Oh my, I have got a wonderful, wonderful show for you. Got a special guest, and we're going to talk about vintage things and hankies. Anybody have any hankies out there? I've got a bunch of them. And what I like to do with mine, I like to just wrap them up as a sachet and tie a little bow on there and stick them in my drawers. But my guest today is going to have all kinds of cool, cool, cool things. So I don't know about you, but I've been having a happy summer. I hope everybody else has too. Let me say hi to a few people here. Hey, Janice made it. All right, Janice from North Carolina. I've got Ann here from San Diego. Nancy's from Arizona. Susie, hey, Susie from North Carolina. Cheryl's checking in from Massachusetts. Don't get me singing that song. I might get started on that. Jane is from Maryland, just outside of Washington, D.C. Donna's here in Ohio. Hey, Donna. Judy's in Minnesota. Shirley. Hi, Shirley. Hey, Connie from Tennessee. Let's see who else is here. Sybil's here. Diane's here. Charlotte's here. Betsy's here. Bobby's here. Susie's here. Ruth's here. Augustine's here. Wow. I know a lot more of you are gonna pop in. And I'm just really happy to have everybody here. Thank you for taking the time out of your day. I know you're going to love this. It's going to be really enjoyable. Have you ever wondered what in the world to do with vintage linens? Again, all those hankies that you may have inherited, or maybe you found doing some thrifting. Maybe you just like the look of vintage fabrics, or maybe you like modern fabrics. When you see what we've got for you today, you're going to be able to use any and all of those plus more. But I just want to share a few fun things with you. I have had a really great week. I was preparing for a get together with my great niece and some of her kids, and in particular, my beautiful niece, my great niece actually, Lily Grace, is headed to fashion school next month. And Aunt Joe and Lily Grace had a couple get togethers for sewing, and I was able to give her just a little bit of a start, and she went wild with it. So lesson number one was on her brother machine. As most of you know, I'm a brother ambassador. And so I work with the brother machines. She happened to have a new brother machine and had not used it. And yes, she's heading to fashion school. And I said, we got to get together so that I can help you out there. Well, she took it like a duck to water. And in that first lesson, she was stitching seams, straight, curved, driving that machine all over the place, and overcasting her raw edges and all those fundamentals that many of us learned when we first started sewing. And then lesson number two, we cut out a beautiful blouse out of a double gauze fabric. And in one short afternoon, she completed the entire thing and really did about 99% of it herself. There she is modeling it. Isn't that just wonderful? So I'm so proud of her. I'm so happy that we had the chance to spend together and get her started. So now when she goes to fashion school, she's going to definitely have an edge on some of them there, because I know I've talked to some people, and these kids go to fashion school, or people go to fashion school and they haven't even really learned how to sew, but they're into designing. She is a super creative kid. She's very artistic, musically inclined, and just a real talent. And like I said, she picked it up so super fast. I can't wait to see what she does in the future. So everybody, give a little love to Lily Grace and give her a thumbs up. And when she watches this, she'll know she has the encouragement from all of my Let's Go Sew stitching friends to get her to keep on going and keep on sewing. So yeah, thank you, everybody. It's really nice to see your comments here. It is really a great thing to see somebody learn to sew. Love to hear in the chat if some of you have taught somebody in your family or a friend. If you've had the opportunity to do that, it's a great thing to pass on the love of sewing for sure. Yep. And it is, she's beautiful. It's beautiful, and it fit her perfect. So I'll tell a little bit more about the story in my weekend blog. For those of you that are on my email list for my newsletter, I always write to you with a little love note on Saturday night, and I will be sure to give you some more of the details, pattern number, and a little bit more about that. So, oh, Catherine, that is wonderful. 4-H is just such a fabulous organization for kids, for learning how to do all kinds of creative things, and sewing. We all know it's once you get started, it is a lifetime love for sure. All right. So, I'm going to not take up too much more time because I have got a great guest waiting in the wings. But let me tell you a little bit more about her. Okay. So, my guest today is the one and only Amy Barickman. And I have had Amy on once before. I hope to have Amy on many times more in the future. She is just, a creative arts entrepreneur extraordinaire, founder of Indigo Junction Pattern Company. I'd love to know in the chat how many of you have used Indigo Junction patterns in your sewing life. I certainly have. They're have always been very, very special and very unique. She is also author of the best-selling book, Vintage Notions, and I am in love with this book. It is just one of my cherished treasures. I will tell you, a few years ago, I had to go through my books because it just, they had to be cleared out. They had to go. And this one was at the top of my keeper list for sure. I would never, ever, ever want to be without this book. There are times when I'll just take it, sit on a chair, sip a cup of tea, and just drool over all the pages. And it's like a walk back in time with all of the projects that are in here, but it's also a plan for the future, because what Amy is great at is showing you how to use things that have vintage style in a fresh, new, modern maker style. So let's see, what else did I want to tell you about Amy? Oh, she is the founder of Vintage Modern Makers, and she's going to tell you more about that. So let me bring her on. Hey, Amy.
Hello,
It
Joanne.
is so good to see you today.
Well, it's awesome to be here. I so appreciate a chance to share with your audience and have time with you too. I know you do some amazing things, and we both love sharing our creativity.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So everybody say hi to Amy, to let me know
Hi,
in the chat
everybody.
if you were able to watch the previous show that we did. We were trying to figure out, when was that? It was a while ago. So
Yes, yes. We'll have to find that replay and maybe add it in our newsletters.
absolutely, that would be perfect. Absolutely perfect. So let me bring up back up that picture. Tell me what Vintage Modern Makers is all about.
Well, this is my new platform for online education based on using vintage textiles and notions and modern projects, inspiring with modern projects that are based on my vintage collection.
Okay.
So the makers courses include everything from, sewing patterns to PDFs that include artwork that can be incorporated into your gifting and sewing and sharing. I take you through my vintage collection, so you get a chance to see some very rare and unique textiles that I've collected over my 30 years in this industry. And it's just been, actually, I filmed these during the pandemic, and this was a fun way for me to get a chance to, be able to share what I love and inspire people with, the idea that you might have something in a drawer or closet that you can pull out and create with a new project for your modern life. So that's the gist of Vintage Modern Makers. And there right now, I think I have 9 courses live on that website. So it's a separate platform from amybarickman.com. But it's been a fun journey, and there are previews of every course people can see too if they hop over to that website.
Okay. Okay. So, would it be safe to say that your main website, which is amybarickman.com, would have basically links to everything that you've
It
you
does.
and have done?
Yes. Just along the top, there's DIY courses at the top. So
Okay, great,
people can hop over
great.
there and keep it simple.
And I do have in the show notes all the connections that you can make with Amy. So if you check the page on YouTube, that's already there, and it'll be there for the future as well. But we'll be sharing a few more links, a few more direct links as we talk a little bit today. So you've got a lot of fans here, Amy, a lot of friends here.
I love the live opportunity, and I haven't recently been going live myself. So it's fun to be a guest and say hi to everybody and get a chance to kind of share what's new that I'm doing too. So we'll talk about hankies, and then we'll talk about some other things maybe.
Absolutely. We got a lot of good stuff to show today. And somebody's already commenting on your shirt. Betsy says, cute shirt. And Betsy, hang on. That's coming up too. So what we wanted to, talk about a little bit today, again, it is tea and tutorials. I don't know if you're sipping any tea today, Amy, but
I'm on water right now. I love tea, but I didn't have time.
That's okay. I am, I just, I drink tea every day, almost all day. In the cooler months, I'm drinking hot tea all day, and I make a big carafe in the morning and just keep sipping on it all day. And when it's a little bit hotter, I take some of that, I put it in the refrigerator and just drink it cold. So
Perfect.
I love it. I love it. And I love sharing what my favorites are. So if anybody wants to share what their favorites are in there, they certainly can do that as well. I'd love to see that. But speaking of tea, you a while back sent me a copy of your wonderful, relatively new, right?
Right.
Let me bring up the picture of that again. But your Fold and Go Folio. Don't ask me to say that 3 times real fast.
I know, it is a tongue twister.
I might get tongue-tied, but your Fold and Go Folio, which is an adorable, very practical storage case, basically, right? A soft storage case.
You're right.
And I know you're going to give us, some ideas for, how you would use it, but my thoughts went a little bit off the rails, and I thought, what if I could use this as a tea tote? You go somewhere and you're, maybe you don't know what they're going to be serving for refreshments, but you can always get hot water, right? You can always find hot water somewhere. And I love to bring tea with me. So my idea was to turn this into a tea tote. And I know a lot of my listeners and viewers here like to do machine embroidery. So I thought I'll just take a minute. I'll show real quick here what I did with mine. I went ahead and took my machine embroidery machine. And of course, I'm a Brother ambassador, so I'm using Brother machines. And in the Brother machine, we have a built-in octagon shape. And you're going to see Amy talk about her octagon shape and the template and the pattern. That's all included in the Fold and Go Folio. But I wanted to take a little quickie shortcut. So I thought, what if I just went ahead and quilted a piece of fabric with an embroidery quilt design, and then stitched out that octagon for the smaller size folio. You'll see there's two sizes that you can make, and then used that as my padded piece. So then, of course, I wanted to go with the tea theme. So I had some of this adorable tea fabric left over, little teacup fabric. However, you're going to see in a minute or two here that this pattern is designed for you to fold, folio, fold, and go, and turn into a little case that closes. So how I'm going to do that with a one-way print presented a little challenge. So what I did is I went ahead and just split a piece of fabric, sewed the seam together so that when this is turned into a Fold and Go folio, both sides read with the print facing in the right direction. So those are just a couple of my little tips for you. I know Amy's got a million more.
Well, I love what you did, Joanne. That is so much fun. And, it reminded me of the fact that this pattern is so perfect for fussy cutting or custom cutting. And we've done a few samples with Tula Pink's fabrics, and some of her recent prints have imagery that, a dragonfly, a rose, that
Yeah.
that fills up, and it's the same thing you did. I love where you are telling people they can seam it and get the front facing correctly on both sides. So one of the tips that I like, if you're not, if you talking about fussy cutting, we're going to want to be able to see the design through while we're cutting to position it right. So I always recommend that, making a translucent pattern can be a great thing off the template that's in the actual pattern. And these new patterns I have done have a QR code inside that leads
Uh-huh.
everyone to a lookbook with fabric ideas and videos.
I
So
see it.
that one goes to the my newsletter to sign up. But the
Okay.
one inside we keep inside is one for where people can reach those videos, and so there are videos and a lookbook that you'll get. So it really is a pattern you can do a lot of different things with. Um,
Excellent.
yeah,
I think that's it
so
right there, right?
that's right. Yeah. And that is the fun of this pattern. There's so many ways you can make it and you can make it for so many different people depending on the fabric you use. So I could show some of those fabric ideas if you want me to start there.
Absolutely. We'd love to see that. And
Okay.
I was just thinking that, like, I mean, the whole idea of this project, I'd love to hear in the chat again, how many of you could use something like this certainly for your sewing. I know I threw out the crazy tea idea, but for sewing or for jewelry. And I think that's what you kind of focused on mostly
Right.
in the pattern. But I also want to just tell everybody, hang on till the very end, because guess what? You're going to have a chance to win your very
Oh,
own
yes.
copy of this. And if you're in the USA, we'll mail you a hard copy. But Amy also has this pattern available as a PDF, which I love having those options. And so if you're out somewhere else, Amy can shoot that PDF to you. So
Right.
hang on till the end of the show. We're going to have a chance to win.
Thanks, so much, Joanne. And yes, the PDF is available on my website, is where you can find the PDF. If you want the print version, you can order it online from a variety of stores, or go to your local quilt or fabric store. I love supporting your local quilt or fabric store.
Absolutely. And you might even find your local shop that will do a class on
Oh,
this.
yeah.
So if they're not even familiar with it, take it in, show it to them or show them the website, and they can order multiple copies and have a class. And you can, what's fun about a class is you're all in there together and everybody is making the same thing, but everybody's making something
Oh,
different.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Every single one comes out different.
Well, and you're sharing ideas and learning from each other. And the other thing I want to say, just thinking of your audience, is I say this project is for tools, jewels, and tech essentials. So
Aha.
jump drives, memory cards, those types of things are perfect. And where I'll open one up and show a
Yep.
jewelry version. This one's made out of a upcycled quilt top,
Okay.
flying geese. My mom had a small cut, and she let me, well, she made this one for me, so we'll give her credit, with the pretty pearl button. I'm going to show my ring too. I'm mad about pearl buttons.
Oh,
And I have a vintage modern makers course on pearl buttons, just FYI. But I'm going to open this up and show you how the jewelry can be secured. And then these little bags, these drawstring bags, this one's perfect for bracelets. And then this is fun. This is your needle keep in the sewing version, but in the jewelry version, you can use it to secure your earrings. So again, I think this just makes a great gift. And whether you make it out of, a salvaged piece of fabric, maybe, this is the one that is made out of a dresser scarf. And this one I'm going to show you was actually a finger towel that was my grandma's, and it had a stain. And my mom decided, why not upcycle it and make it into the folio? So
oh,
again,
beautiful.
just so many possibilities for this pattern. And Joanne, too, I do have hanky versions. I could share a few of those. What
Ooh,
do you think?
yes. We love the idea of using hankies. Again, I don't know anybody in the chat. If you want to tell me, if you have collected hankies over the years, or if you, I'm not saying this is the prettiest one I have, but this is the one that I had all bundled up for a sachet that I store with my off-season clothes. So that was just a easy, simple idea. You end up with so many of these things, and I think for some of us, we're afraid to cut them apart, right? Does that ever
Right.
happen? So you may have a few that you really don't want to, cut into, that are really cherished, and that's just a quick little idea.
Oh,
Just fill them up, tie a bow, but you got to get out those other ones, and you got to do something with them, right? Because it's otherwise they're just kind of being wasted.
and to your point, Joanne, one thing I do recommend I wrote a book called Hankie Style, and those pictures in the beginning that you showed were from the back cover of that book. And in that book, I recommend too, there is printable, fabric sheets that you can print on. So one option would be to color copy your
Oh,
favorite hanky
I love that idea.
onto a printable fabric sheet. So keep that in
Yeah,
mind. And the
that's an
other thing I'll
excellent
tell you
idea.
is, I do on my website sell PDF images of graphics related to sewing, quilting, and I have hankies that I actually sell the PDF of that are scanned from my collection.
Okay,
So
I think we have some
again,
pictures of those in
yeah,
here today. Oh, we're getting some great comments.
good.
Janice uses an old hanky as a
Ironing
pressing cloth.
cloth. Yep.
Very smart. Yeah, especially the old men's cotton ones. They're great for that.
Well,
Sharon
and I
says
have a couple here to show. Yeah, hi, Sharon.
she's always on the
She's
lookout for
gonna,
vintage
yep.
hankies.
And look, and one thing that's so much fun, Joanne, that I love is when I find two different hankies that maybe coordinate well together. and then maybe I can use them together in a project. We've done this. One of the projects in Vintage Modern Makers is that zippered pouch that you've
Okay.
pictured in the
Yeah.
beginning. And so we've done some zippered pouches using the hankies and combining a couple different ones. And the other fabric I love to combine with hankies that I wanted to share is
Oh, yeah.
gingham.
That's a
So
good
this
one.
is a eyeglass case that's one of the projects in the Vintage Modern Makers. And just go to the thrift shop and look in the men's shirts for gingham shirts. And you can find some amazing yarn dyed fabric. And here's even, oh, yes, this is even a turquoise. So you
I
can
love the way you match that. And the other idea is that a lot of times those the clothing that you find in the in the resale places, they're even better quality sometimes than some of the fabric that you can buy, especially with men's shirting, like you said,
oh,
because
yes,
most men that are wearing, real shirts with the ties and the jackets and that kind of thing, they're buying better quality, and they make,
right.
those they're it's just a great resource for fabric. I got to share
It
a couple
really is.
ideas that are
Oh,
coming in
great.
here. Julianne, hey Julianne, good to have you here with us today. Julianne has a bunch of bandanas. I know bandanas. Let's save the bandanas for another show,
Okay, because
maybe.
you know
'Cause
that I
you
have a
you
course
are the
on
bandana
bandanas
queen.
too, Julianne. You might want to go look at the preview of that course. I'll just leave
Yeah,
it at that. But bandanas are another one. I actually did a fabric line, I don't know, 15 years ago that was based on vintage bandanas. So
I
I have
remember.
a deep
I
love for those wonderful textiles.
Absolutely, absolutely. But a bandana certainly would work for this too.
Oh,
But
yes.
we've got many more bandana ideas.
In fact,
And
we've made some out of bandanas. Now that you
oh,
say that,
cool.
Joanne, yep.
Cool. And Dee Dee says that folio would make a great gift for a bride on her wedding day. And just imagine, let's just, the ideas start flying. That
There it is.
It's gorgeous. But think about, what if you had like grandmother's hanky or mom's hanky or some special person in your life that you could get a hanky from them and make it into that for the bride. Wouldn't that be
I
really
love that
special?
idea, Joanne.
I love it. I
So
love
this
it.
is my wedding dress fabric made into a fold and go folio.
Oh,
And you can see inside, I even have the earrings that I wore. And here's my pearls on the, so great minds think alike, don't we?
oh, that
But,
is
and then
so
here's the small
special.
version. Um, and this is kind of cute too, just an example to show you if any of you love buttons like I do. This one has pearl buttons embellished. My mom made this and added this touch.
Oh,
But you could also on the clasp, you could use a button and a loop instead of a snap inside.
oh, that's smart. That would be really pretty. I love pearl buttons too. I have bags of them.
Well, there we go. Joanne, we can do a live on every theme in the Vintage Modern Maker courses one of
We
these
could,
days.
and you know what? I'd have the supplies for it.
That would be fun. So yes, this I'll show you too, thinking of hankies. The other, this little rose is the smaller version, and it's made from a hanky. And another fabric we like for the lining is like a feed sack prints work well with hankies. So keep that in mind. And here's the larger hanky version that I had, and I'll show you the before picture. Here's the before of
Oh,
how it became it went from sitting in a drawer to a useful project. And
yep,
that's what's fun to be able to do with this pattern.
absolutely. Sharon's thinking about making a quilt with hankies.
Oh, there's a quilt in the hanky style book. We've done everything from piecing the hankies together and making a scarf to, I think I have a, let me see if I can find it. Yes, here it is. Well, this one is just more of could be a belt or a scarf.
Oh,
But you can see how if you have parts and pieces, maybe some of your hankies are damaged, you can cut and, combine them together. And a lot of times they really work well together.
yeah. Yeah. Oh, I know I've seen you wear that scarf. I love the scarf you made from hankies. That is
Mhm.
really, and I would have never thought to use that, but it's a lightweight, soft fabric, and why not? It's
Right,
perfect.
right,
Vic-
exactly.
Vicky's got a question for you. Can you put a zipper in the top opening?
Of the Fold and Go Folio.
That's what I think she's thinking.
We have not done that, but I do think you could figure out a way to add a pocket to the lining and with a zipper. You'd have to put it behind, and that does give me a segue to talk about the pockets. So
Okay.
I love a zipper because it secures things, but the second best is a zipper or is a drawstring. So here you can see this really fun modern look that we
Yeah, that's
did.
pretty.
Um, and I like to do different fabrics for each pocket. Was kind of fun. But the tool that I use to make here's the drawstring, and this is a very tiny little casing we have. So the tools I like to use are clover bodkins, and there's a couple of them there that you can see. They're wonderful for everything from if your drawstring comes out of your sweatshirt, but they're particularly nice if you're using like silk ribbon to make your drawstring, or maybe a grosgrain ribbon. Even twill tape works really nicely. So there you will have your little, and this is perfect. This small bag's perfect for like thimbles. Maybe you have a little round tape measure. I also love it in the jewelry version for earrings and rings. Well, really more rings and, small necklaces that you don't want to lose. So yes, this is fabulous fabric too. Very fun.
Yeah, and I really like the idea that you've made everything so secure in there. So, just along that whole idea of the zipper thing, it's you really don't need a zipper the way
Right.
your pattern is designed. And we're already getting some questions on
Oh,
how to get
good.
the pattern. Hang in there with us. We'll be showing you that in just a minute. But simple answer is Amy's website is where you'll find it.
Yep. And I will show you, Joanne, since you were talking about securing, here we can see we do elastic for spools. A lot of times I have put the scissors in this pocket, and you can see how we even with your machine embroidery, to make some really cute pocket details that then
Yeah.
become those pockets. Sometimes the scissors I tie in to the project, and that's not in the instructions. We've learned that is helpful. So,
Just
and there's
tack a little ribbon
also,
on there and tie it
yeah,
around the
exactly.
actual,
Yeah.
you
And we
know,
even
right
pulled
there.
you know what, Joanne, do you have the picture of the before of this? I think it
Let's see.
was because I would tell people that one thing we did was to actually remove the detail of the crocheted edge, and we added it, sewed it back on the pockets. And
Okay. I
that was
don't
a
I
really
don't have a
fun,
picture of that, but
that was a really fun detail that we did with this. So, um, yeah, it's so versatile and such a great way to use a vintage textile. Here's a fun one too. This was a napkin, a cross stitch napkin, and I have the original here. So you can see the original napkin, and then here's the finished Fold and Go Folio. And the funniest thing, my mom, she she used, these are sheets. This is a sheet, fabric from some sheets that she had that ended up being the lining.
aha.
So there you go.
We're getting all kinds of different comments with all kinds of great ideas.
Oh, good. Good, good, good.
Ginny's made christening outfits with her daughter's wedding dress and still has material.
Oh,
So now she wants to be able to make a folio that her daughters can use when they get married.
Oh, that's so awesome. I love that idea.
That is
I'm
fantastic.
all about the fact we can, in fact, I'll show a couple more versions of this is so for the wedding, think about it. You could also make the groomsmen fold and go folios out of ties, and they could use them to store, like we said, tech essentials, maybe their cufflinks or something special from the wedding might be fun to make. And
Yes.
I love the ties that because they have sometimes the back side of the fabric, it's almost like a tapestry that has a beautiful wrong and right side. So anyway, and that's what we made the pocket out of, was the wrong side.
Oh,
So
and
there
what
you
a great way to, no pun intended, marry together the groom side and the bride side with a tie and oh my, great ideas.
Well, there's just so many things you can do with vintage textiles, and there's so much wonderful fabric out there to be worked with and brought into our modern life to enjoy.
So I have a quick question for you. How do you actually store your textiles? Do you, I mean, because a lot of them are pretty precious. Do you have a special way of storing
Well,
them?
there is like an archival tissue that I use sometimes if I have a very, very old quilt that has, I'm noticing any kind of deterioration. I'll be, I'll use that when I'm storing them. I keep most everything, in plastic containers,
Okay.
bins, and organized that way.
I think, I know there's a lot of people kind of, in the whole vintage space where they're dealing with real true, antiques that have to be preserved forever for, or hopefully, for a long
Right.
time just for posterity's sake. But I think probably sealed containers, like you said, number one. And probably I think the second biggest thing, I'd love to hear your take on this, is climate controlled. So you're
Yes.
not storing it in like a hot attic or,
Right.
a damp area. You're storing it in a space that would be
Cool.
livable
Yeah.
because, then the fabric is gonna be able to hold up. So
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. And I have a nice storage room that is controlled like that at some level, that where I keep my vintage collection. I call it my vintage vault. But
ah,
and
that's
some,
great.
that whether it be textiles, notions, I also collect a lot of the vintage, instructional pamphlets, booklets. A lot of that inspired my indigo junction patterns, and I continue to treasure hunt for for fabrics and anything that I see that really catches my attention as good design and things that have the potential to bring solutions to our modern life too.
Yeah.
I think people want to sew and be able to give gifts that are useful, like this fold and go folio or the eyeglass case from the hank that you can make out of hankies. So, and then the other patterns I've been doing recently too, Joanne, are the clothing patterns, and both of them would work well for hankies.
Uh-huh.
And I can show them quick just to let your viewers know.
Sure.
This is so one of them is called the Wherever Wrap, and that is simply sleeves. You're making sleeves to wear. So if you're at a, restaurant and your arms are cold, you could carry this in your purse, and making it out of like hankies that were pieced together, I think could be really a perfect solution. And then the other pattern is the Anytime Topper. And that one also has the potential, there, I got it, have up that, to be made out of hankies. You could piece hankies together, and we've done a lot of upcycling with this pattern. Everything from a tablecloth here. Both these were actually tablecloths. So, And then I do have a bandana
Yeah,
version. So thinking of bandanas, you could buy, a few bandanas and piece them together into this topper. So the Anytime topper has been a really versatile pattern. It's almost a canvas. So if you're doing machine embroidery, it's a great pattern to showcase your embroidery on too.
definitely, definitely.
And
And
Marsha loves recycling things. I do too. In fact, do you know what I have here? This is a spool, Joanne. Isn't
oh,
that fun?
a wood spool.
Yes.
How
Well, and
beautiful.
it is, I'll tell you what I'm wearing. I'm wearing what is my new product. And I do have a Fold and Go Folio made out of this, in this fabric, if you want me to share that.
Yeah, we'll be showing that in just a minute. In
All
just a minute.
righty.
Let me see. Let me go ahead and bring back up the actual pictures here, and we'll switch over to the next
Okay.
one. Yep. That is what you're
Oh,
talking about, right?
there it is.
There
Yep.
it is.
That is, what you can see here is fabric panels that I have a collection of, currently 5 different panels that are reproductions from my collection. So this is another way I can share my collection. And I'm wearing one right here that's called Roses and Daisies. And the beauty of these panels is they're perfect for hand quilting and embroidery and embellishing. And then you can use them to upcycle denim or make small projects. And here we have the Fold and Go Folio made with the panel that you see here. There it is. And what we did was actually do some hand quilting and a hand embroidery over the panel. And we were able to use our fun vintage button. And then I'm going to open it up and show you that the pockets we created were actually different pieces that were on the panel. So on the panel, you have different scales of prints. And you can see here a look inside what that ended up, how it ended up working. And there we go. Thank you for that slide, Joanne. And you can see that we also have done, there's a smaller version you could do of the folio. And then the picture there that of the log cabin block, I actually have the finished version of that in the folio. And again, this is a smaller version. So those quilt blocks, be on the lookout for quilt blocks. And the other thing I love about the folio is being able to store your pins in there. All different types of pins, whether you have flat head pins or safety pins or, quilting pins. So thanks for sharing those, Joanne.
Sure thing. Amy, do you use any of like the walnut shell stuffing or anything like that? What do you use for your filler inside your pin cushions?
In pin cushions,
Do you have a
yes, the
favorite?
walnuts are good. The sawdust is good. Um, and people use everything from like animal hair, different. I do think like wool batting works
Yeah,
really
because
well.
it's got the lanolin in it. Yep.
Yes. And even like roving that we use for needle felting can sometimes work well in the pin cushions. Those are another fun project that we've done some things with the treasured threads with.
Well,
But
I love what you've done by taking, the fabrics and brought them back into, usable
a new
pieces,
way.
because you're taking things that again were previously old maybe and maybe not in such good condition, and reproduced it in the line so that people can, they're basically like panels. Is that correct?
Right. And I can
Okay.
show you, I'll show you quick one if you want me to.
Yeah,
I
let's
have one
take a
right
look.
here, the one that I'm wearing. So this is this is Roses and Daisies. And so you can see here's, the rose maybe that, well, this is a smaller version. So you do get multiple scales. This is the one that's on my jacket, but I can open it up and show you. And many of the panels are are based off my collection of quilt blocks. So they're almost like cheater quilting that you can do with them.
Uh-huh.
And maybe in another episode we can get into like my new method that I've developed for what I call patch applique,
Okay.
and using a little fusible batting along with the panel to create the patches. And I'll tell you, when you do buy the panels, you receive videos on my technique, and you receive 3 different patterns, including, well, I'll show you one of them just because, an eyeglass case, and then the other one you receive is a crossbody bag.
Oh, that's
So this is just
wonderful.
a simple crossbody bag made with the same panel that I showed you that we'd made the Fold and Go Folio out of.
So you buy the panel and you have immediate access to projects.
Yep.
And the panels are sold how, Amy?
They are currently, you can buy them on colonialpatterns.com. That's the
Okay.
company here in Kansas City that I've partnered with to produce them. This is another one of the panel, Missouri Star Blue. Yes, so Colonial Patterns and I have teamed up, which is super exciting because they're a legacy brand here in Kansas City. And you might, if you're ever in an antique mall, you're going to find an Aunt Martha's iron-on transfer embroidery pattern. I guarantee you. So we are working together to produce these. And again, there's their website. They do some wonderful tools and notions and products for hand embroidery is their focus mainly.
And tell me if I'm correct in that you do have a direct link to that through your website as well,
Yes.
correct?
Yes,
Okay.
right at the top of my
Very good. So
website,
you
you'll
you
see
could
it. And there you can see the technique a little bit in that photo, Joanne.
uh-huh.
So that jean jacket was a fun one to embellish with the name of that panel, the one I've shown you, is the postage stamp retro. Because
Okay.
that postage stamp quilt that we scanned and photographed for this panel was like 1/2 inch piecing. So I know I'm not going to piece 1/2 inch, and it's feed sacks too. Just I think there's over 100 different feed sack prints in that panel.
How neat is that? Well, I love the way you used them for, for the Fold and Go Folio. Anybody that here that knows me knows I'm a big jean jacket embellishment fan.
I
That's
love
one of my
I've seen your machine embroidery
That is one of
packages
my
before.
all-time
Yes,
favorite things to do. I think jean jackets beg for embroidery when they're blank. They're
yes.
just calling out, "Please, please, please, embellish me."
Well, and would it be fun to combine some of the artwork from a panel and then maybe some machine embroidery and do a
Absolutely.
combo?
Oh,
I
we gotta
think that,
collaborate on that too, because, the
well,
colors are just would allow you to pick out the colors for the embroidery and use, the fabric as trim strips and never let a
yes.
thing to go to waste. But speaking of not going to waste, that's the other thing I really love about the idea that you put these together in panels, because how many of us buy fabric, and it hurts when you've got those bits and pieces left. I know, there's
Mhm.
usually a use for them, but it's so nice to purchase a panel and have a dedicated project to do and use up the whole thing at one
Right,
time, right?
right. No, that's the beauty of, well, really, with digital, the ability to do printing digitally, that's what's led to so many panels on the market. And in fact, I look behind me, I have these rose graphics, and I think to myself, oh, wouldn't that one be a gorgeous panel
Yeah.
that could be, maybe a larger scale. So with my collection, I'm really hoping we can expand and do more with with the panels.
I'm
And the treasure threads line. Well, and Joanne, you had something up there that you just showed that was my
Yeah, I'll bring that back in a minute. We'll talk more
sure
about the folios, and we're just getting a couple comments on bits and pieces and jean jackets
leftovers.
too. Yeah,
Well, jean jackets are timeless. They never go out of
yeah.
style. Dee Dee, I agree.
And
I
then
denim is timeless, you know.
absolutely, oh, I love
It's
denim. And
just it's amazing. And it's amazing what you can find at the thrift store as far as denim. You can find chambray shirts, you can find overalls. You know, you can have so we've done some really we have one themed treasure threads that's called Western Rodeo, and we did a little kids overalls with the images, and it's pretty a lot of fun.
absolutely great ideas. I know there's a resale shop in my area who has an entire rack of nothing but jean jackets. It's it's a treasure
Well,
trove, and yeah, they're just there waiting to be embellished.
waiting for you, Joanne, to
All
yes.
right, well, let's bring back up the folio and talk just a little bit more about that, and then we've got a few other things to talk about today. So, hang on, everybody, for the giveaway at the end.
Yes, yes. Well, picture above shows you the idea of team spirit for your giveaway fabric. And I am a, Kansas Jayhawk, Lawrence, Kansas. You might know us from basketball. Anyway, this was a folio that my mom again had sewed for us that showcases some team fabric. But again, you could do team colors. And I just think, like, even for somebody, a college student, putting the cords from all of their technology devices this could be a perfect gift. Think ahead to Christmas gifts.
Yeah.
And I have Chiefs too. We do love our Chiefs. So and actually my Chiefs version of this I actually got photographed with the Super Bowl ring
Oh,
because Andy Reid's wife, Tammy Reid, is a quilter, and she is a collector of vintage like I am. I gave her a Chiefs Fold and Go Folio, and she, in turn, I took some pictures while I visited with her about the at a local quilt shop. So that was kind of
oh
fun.
my, what a
We
great.
have a lot of great creativity here in Kansas City.
I know you
Joanne,
do.
I forgot where are you?
I'm in Northeast Ohio, so I'm about an
Okay.
hour outside of Cleveland. But I know we were talking earlier today about oh, tell me the name again of that special place in Kansas City. You've
Yes,
got some
I have
special news on that too.
I do. Thank you. So I just joined the board of a nonprofit in Kansas City called the Sewing Labs. And they are a job force development program in Kansas City that teaches sewing and the idea of giving, at risk uh, people the opportunity to learn how to work with industrial machines and maybe find a job in related to sewing. And so they have a gala coming up. I was telling you, Joanne,
Yep.
it's a week from today. So anybody in Kansas City, if you're interested about the gala, you could always look on my Facebook page. Amy Barickman Studio is, I have a post about it, but they also have an online auction that anyone can bid on some of the prizes. And ironically, I have a whole set of the Treasure Threads panels that I put in the auction. So if you really are eager to try this new product, I would encourage you to check out this auction and possibly bid on the panels over there at the sewinglabs.org, I believe. But you said, Joanne, you'd put a link in your newsletter,
Absolutely.
maybe?
I will, yep, I will do that this weekend. If you are on my letsgosew.com site, if you visit there, you can sign up for my email. Like I said, I send out I send out a love note every weekend and give you some updates and some project ideas, some tips, tricks, or anything, any news that I think you'd be interested in. So I will definitely put all the information for that event in there tomorrow, so everybody can look forward to getting that. So I think that is a great thing. I've read about it, and it really is just sewing. We know the power in sewing.
Oh,
When
yes.
what is that statement? Never underestimate the power of a person with a sewing machine. So
Yep.
it goes something
Yep.
like that.
Yep. Yep, it is a wonderful tool, and I love that. I feel so fortunate to be in Kansas City where there's this renewed focus on sewing, and we've got some great quilt shops here, so it's wonderful. And
Yeah.
it's wonderful that you send out that newsletter, Joanne. I appreciate you sharing it.
Well, we always want to, and Sharon loves everything you demonstrate. So,
Oh, Sharon, thank you.
you know,
Great
we
to
al-
see you.
we always want to do our best to keep the love of sewing going, right?
Yep.
So let me take just a minute, since we're talking about keeping the love of sewing going, to thank everybody again for watching. If you're watching live, we have a blast in the live chat. It's always fun to be here live, but I know some of you, can only be here for the replay, and that's okay too. We thank you for watching on the replay as well. If you like this video, if you'd like to see more, please hit the like, hit that thumbs up. That helps a lot. Not only does it help me as a YouTube person, as presenting these, it does help other people that are looking for the same great information, because then it will pop up in their feed if they're looking for anything similar. And if you want to know about new shows, Amy and we are going to have to get our heads together
Yeah.
on doing a few more things. You want to definitely hit the bell for notifications.
Right.
So
One more thing quick, Joanne, I was just
sure.
thinking, I just wanted to make sure everyone knew about my newsletter too, because that's a great way to keep in touch.
Absolutely.
Um,
I've got a whole picture for that to
Ooh,
show.
I
Let me go ahead
appreciate that.
and bring that up while we're talking about it. Let's see. Somewhere
And
here.
I
Mhm.
do speaking of my Vintage Notions book, I do have a YouTube channel that has a lot of videos based on walking people through the chapters. So if you're interested in learning more about the book, you can always go to the YouTube playlist that's called Vintage Made Modern. And in that playlist, I show, remember I talked about the shirt made into an apron? So
Yeah.
that's a good thing too.
Well, that was the other thing I was thinking about when we were talking before. Like I said, I mean, Vintage Notions, head to Amy's website, get a copy of Vintage Notions. You will absolutely love every bit of it. But, not only, like I said, are you teaching people how to use old things in new ways, in modern ways, you're also honoring the past
Mm,
here. And for so many of us, we have a connection to the past somewhere personally
right.
in our own maybe sewing family or friends. If not personally, we're just interconnected by the whole the whole world of sewing. And and I know, you meet a person that sews and you have an immediate bond.
New friend.
And
Yes.
so I love the
Yes.
fact that you're honoring it that way too.
Yes. Yes.
Kimberly
No.
already has your beautiful book.
Oh, well, thank you, Kimberly.
And then
So,
I've got a link to Amy's sign up there. And again, all of that is also in the show notes on the
excellent.
YouTube page. And I'll recap all of that again in my newsletter that I put out this weekend. So
Oh,
yeah.
well, thank you
So
so much, Joanne.
I think we have just a few more pictures
Oh,
actually
yeah.
of
Okay.
the folio here. Let me bring a
Okay.
couple of those up. Let's see. Let me see if I can find the right ones here, because we kind of skipped around a little
Yes,
bit
we
as
did.
as
I
per
always
usual.
I told Joanne at the beginning, I always have way too many things
That's
to share.
okay. That's all right. It's all good. So I think we saw that one, and then there was
Yep.
one
Oh,
after
yeah.
that where you're showing some of the vintage things, and then I
Right.
think did I have one more after that? No, I guess not. But we had somebody asked a question. Let me see if I can find it real quick here. about using, let's see, using ties. I don't see it
Oh,
here
yes.
readily, but I think it was my friend Lynn asked, can you use ties to actually make the folio?
Well, yes. Now, I will tell you, this is one made out of a tie. But usually when you deconstruct your tie, you're only going to have a width big enough to make the smaller of the two folios.
Okay.
The larger would be difficult. You could, though, do your method, Joanne, if you found two ties that kind of look alike, which you kind of do see a lot of ties that look similar out there. You could maybe do a half and half and seam two together. So I love the tie. And you can get the pattern. The PDF is at amybarickman.com. And you can order the print version. Colonial Patterns has that. There's a lot of website, there's other availability out there through independent retailers. I highly advise you to go to your local quilt shop or fabric store and shop there. We want to keep all those shops in business. So we don't want them to go away.
I
And
think that's a great
it's a
idea.
tough business these days with all the online competition. So I'm always all about stop by your local shop.
And Dee Dee had another great idea for a gift item. I mean, I wouldn't have thought of that. That is just, again, fold and go folio for whatever you need to fold and go and carry with you, right?
Right. Another idea similar to that, somebody said barrettes and hair bands. It would be perfect for keeping those. And you could even add tabs that you could clip the barrettes onto. But I love the makeup idea and the lip gloss. And that sounds like a great idea to me.
That is a great.
And it's always fun then to go out and find the right fabric to go with the purpose for the pattern, we'll say.
Yep, you got it. And then I back to again, we're jumping around a little bit, but that's the way it is when you talk sewing, right? You can't help it. Back to the whole jean jacket idea. I know you had a few more projects that you did with the Treasured Threads panel. So
that is the Missouri Star Blue panel, Joanne. And you can see we even took off the pocket there, the pocket flap, and replaced it using some of the Treasured Threads part of the panel. And then the back was we hand quilted that Missouri Star, then placed it on that jean jacket. So that one was a fun one.
Oh, there's the slide for your getting in touch with your newsletter. I knew I had one that showed. So very easy to do, right? Why don't you tell everybody just a little bit about how they would do that?
They can go to my website, and you'll find a pop-up when you're about ready to leave. You'll see a pop-up that gives you the chance to sign up, or you can scroll down to the bottom of the footer and there's a link there. But when you do sign up for the newsletter, you get a PDF that has these fun labels, lists, note cards. And a little bed jacket pattern that you could make. And one of the magic patterns, like from Mary Brooks Picken, who was the inspiration for Vintage Notions. And author of the Singer Sewing book. So anyway, we
talked a lot about that in our previous show. And again, I'll make sure I link to that as well. But that was a great.
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
And the newsletter I send out, weekly or every other week. I need to be more consistent like you, Joanne, and get it out every week.
Well, for me, it's a way to keep in touch with all my friends near and far. And I appreciate everybody, that's signed up for the newsletter and looks forward to getting it. But Janice just signed up for yours.
Oh, good. Thank you, Janice. Thank you. Well, it's just, I think today when social media, we can do posts, but half the time not nobody, but a small amount of people see them. So the newsletter is always the best way to keep in touch.
Absolutely. And Shirley loved the jacket. She has several to embroider on, just waiting.
Oh, good.
So, yeah, we got to collaborate on that one in the real near future.
I think that sounds great, Joanne.
Well, here comes the cat.
Oh, goodness. She needs some attention.
Took all of my screens away. So
I think you have a cat. Looks like my Chloe. I think she's on your mic.
Uh, she is.
There you go.
But she's also totally took away my screen.
Oh
And
no.
I got to figure out how to get it back. So I
Well,
think,
I
okay,
see
so
you.
hopefully I was still here.
Yeah, I can still see you. What's your cat's name again?
I call her Little Miss T. So Little Miss
Okay.
T thinks she's part of all the Let's Go So shows and decides to
Well,
make a guest appearance
it
every
is TN tutorials, so
yeah.
she doesn't want to be left out.
Oh my. Hello, Kitty.
Oh.
Yes, she's got to be where Mama is for sure.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Well, what do you say? I'm going to bring back up the picture of the actual pattern here. And what do you say we do a drawing for that? We'll talk for just a few minutes. While we're talking, if you would like to be entered in this drawing, you just need to put in the chat hashtag. What did I decide it was? Let me look here. Hashtag tea time. So hashtag tea time. I'll put this in the comments so that you can see it just like that. Let me get this in here. And we'll talk just a little bit more. And then I will bring up. There you go. That's it. Hashtag tea time. Okay. So while we're letting people get their chance to draw on that, we had a question about that scarf. Do you have that hanky scarf handy that you can pull up?
No, yep. Just I dropped it on the floor. Here it is.
All right. Oh my. Let me bring you up full screen so you can see that.
So
That is so beautiful. And I love skinny scarves. I like big ones too, but I love a skinny scarf because it just makes such a nice accent to your outfit. And like so you can use it as a belt. So
right. That's what I was thinking too.
Yeah.
And you could, double it like do a 2 and wrap. I guess I'm gonna do my faux, something like that.
Yeah, I love it.
Could be kind of fun.
I absolutely love it.
There you go.
Love it.
Well, and keep in mind, we've done a version. This one's lined, okay, because it's pieced, but we have done a full version hanky where we just seamed hankies together and, found really beautiful coordinating ones, seamed them together and that's one of the projects in the hanky style book. But we've done another thing is we've seamed them together and like added a ruffle on the bottom of a jean skirt. There's just so much you can do with those hankies. And in fact, very fun. Guest artist in my hanky course was the woman, now I can't remember her name, who makes doll clothes out of vintage hankies. And she is an amazing talent and so inspiring. So any of my online courses always have a guest artist that I feature that, whether they design with pearl buttons and make jewelry or, so that's kind of a fun add-on.
That makes it.
Yeah, it's not
makes
just
it a lot of fun. Well, I'm actually in the process of watching your hanky course right now. I'm enjoying it very much. And everybody, again, if you go to amybarickman.com, you will find all the courses. Can you name them off the top of your head, all the different courses you actually have?
Let's see. Yes, we have feed sack, pearl button, gingham, bandana, hanky. I have a couple that are coming that aren't out. Oh, yo-yos. I have the one on yo-yos is really fun. And then I have a couple on quilt blocks, the history of the quilt block and that story. I think I have them mostly covered there. But
okay, yes. Great. Well, you'll find all those at Amy's website. And Sharon wants to know, is the hanky book on your website as well?
You can. The PDF of the book is there. It's available as a PDF. That book. The other place might be Amazon to find it. It is out of print, but still available. But if
Okay.
you're comfortable with the PDF, that is
Yeah.
available at amybarickman.com.
PDF is a nice route to go because then you're not having to store everything for
Right.
one. But if you do want to print some of that off, you have the
Oh, yes.
ability to print that. And
Right.
then Lynn's asking a question: is the bias slip pattern in your vintage book?
Yes, it is.
Okay,
That is one
I'm
of the
sure.
magic patterns. So
Yeah,
there are 12 magic patterns in the book, and that is one of them.
I
And
remember.
again, those are a magic pattern by definition in Vintage Notions is a pattern that has measurements and directions versus actual pattern pieces to cut out. So,
Yep.
yep, there it is. There's one of
There,
them. Yeah, and
there.
there are hankies on the pages of the Vintage Notions book too. I was thinking about that,
Oh
Joanne.
yeah, I remember seeing those. And
Yeah, even like
there's
the
the apron you were talking about. It's
right.
just
Yep.
chock full of good stuff. Like I
Yep.
said, it's a must have in my
Oh,
in my in my book. It's a must have to have the book.
thank you. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. Oh, we're getting so many different comments.
People love the hankies. I'm telling
Okay.
you,
All right. Well,
they're
what do you say we go ahead and do this drawing? Now,
sounds
I
good.
haven't done this a lot of times, so let me see if I do this the right way. I think I just want to share the screen here. And let's see. I think that would be that one right there. And is it coming up? Let's see. All right, there it is. So I'm going to go ahead and click the button. And
That's fun. The StreamYard platform lets you pick the
yeah,
winner too.
StreamYard has a giveaway tool
Wow.
and it works really well. I haven't done it a lot. So there we go.
Oh, look at
Watch it
that.
run. And who's the winner? The winner is Monica Johnson. Yay,
Wonderful.
Monica.
Congratulations, Monica.
All right. So Monica is watching on Facebook because we are live streaming via StreamYard on both uh, YouTube and on Facebook. So Monica, if you would go ahead and get in touch with me at letsgosew.com, I will send you the hard copy if you're in the USA. And if you are outside the USA, I will forward you over to Amy and she will get in touch with you for the PDF copy. Yay, congratulations. That was fun.
Awesome.
That was a lot of fun. So, we have covered a lot of ground here today. I know, like we said, always, you can always come up with more. And you and I just have a real nice path that our minds both kind of merge together on,
Mhm.
along with everybody that's here today. So, if anybody's got any last minute questions, let's get them squeezed in here. But I know for me personally, this has been very inspiring. I found the one hanky real quick,
Right.
but I know I have a stack of other ones somewhere, and I can't wait to make the Fold and Go Folio pattern and use it as a tea tote. But I
That's a
sure do
great
want to make
idea.
one for sewing as well. And I love all the ideas that everybody shared here today. So thank you all for being
Yes.
here. Amy, I will let you finish the day. Are you
Yep.
sewing today?
Well, actually, what am I? I am proofreading and working on, I'm actually working on, along with the treasured threads, we're going to have a fusible product to go along with that technique I told you about.
Okay.
And so I'm working on some packaging and doing some step outs of the technique. So I am sewing, but it's not for a finished project. It's for a product development. But I will, I'll probably see
It's
my
sewing
mom
related.
tomorrow, and we'll be working on a sewing project together tomorrow.
Very
So
good. Very
it's
good.
definitely an everyday part of my life, and yours
It
too.
it is. It absolutely is. And when we're not actually really sewing, it's going on up
Oh,
here,
I know.
right?
The creative brains that don't stop. I think we both have one.
Absolutely. Well, let's say goodbye to everybody. And I'll tell everybody what I always like to say. Until we meet again, I wish you a world full of pretty stitches. Happy sewing.
Thanks so much, Joanne. Have a great
Bye-bye.
weekend. Bye, everybody.